Okay, that should be it. That should be it. How we doing, folks? Everyone here, everyone enjoying themselves. I'm Nigel, currently not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends here at Hair Kitty Kitty. Heather's not here at the moment. We'll get more into that in the moment, but let's just say she went out to do some gardening earlier today and started feeling a bit dizzy. She realized she's got some vertigo, probably related to her migraines. So she's taking it easy today. She said she's going to pop by a bit later if she's feeling better. So we're going to wait and see if she drops by. But for the most part, I'm on my own today. Hi to everyone who has joined us. And let's see who we've got here. And by all means, please let me know if I'm accidentally echoey or anything like that. So who have we got today? We've got Colleen. Colleen says cocktails plus wigs. Okay. Yeah, we'll have some wig news for you, and we'll have some cocktails, canned cocktails for you. We'll talk about that in a little minute. Who else we got here? We got Sheila Wall here saying, here with my peanut butter ice cream cone in 100-degree heat. And all I can say to that is, yikes, we're not even that hot here in Georgia. And it got pretty hot this week. It's climbed into the 90s. Today, it's been a bit less fatal, but it's still been pretty darn warm today. Let's see, Colleen. Yeah, ice cream fire Sunday. Yes, outstanding. Oh, I could go for some good ice cream right about now. Shoot, heat exhaustion also maybe could be that. Could be that. It's been quite humid. It's only 88 today, but it's also been pretty darn humid. There's also the fact that we went out to eat yesterday, and the place we went to, very nice Mexican place, does a lot of birria, but a lot of salt in it, so it might be a bit of dehydration as well.
Oh, did you tell them about my vertigo?
Yes, I did. I mentioned it. You can come in and say if you like. Cheryl Wig Lover says, hi, Wig Lovers. Hi, Cheryl.
Oh, there's no chair in here for me.
Kathleen, well, I'll let you have this one.
That's okay. I'll log into the computer in the other room because there's an air conditioner.
Okay, that's a good point, my sweet. Okay.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, that's Heather. She'll be with us very shortly. But yeah, we in typical Hair Kitty live stream format, there's been a glitch in the usual MacBook that Heather uses, and for some reason the camera is not working with StreamYard, so couldn't get that going. So Heather is now going into the other room to get set up. So anyway, long story short, hi, Kathleen. Deborah says, hello, everyone. Hope Heather feels better. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. Shelly says, hi, Nigel. Love and hugs to Heather. Hope she feels better soon. Migraines are the worst. Yeah, they are pretty bad. I used to get them myself. I used to have Imitrex injections for them, and all I can say is those Imitrex injections made me feel worse than the actual migraine. So I gave up on that, and thankfully I grew out of those after a while. Okay, who else we got? Oops, skipped a bit. There we go. Lynn says, I just set up a pina colada for myself. Oh, lovely pina. Oh, I love pina coladas. Pina coladas are fantastic. Oh, hi, Kathleen. Is that your new channel? I'll check it out. Excellent support between us. 88, hot enough when working hard. Very true. Very true. Cheryl says, hoping Heather will feel better soon. Yeah, excellent. Lynn says, hi, Cheryl, my wig maven. Tina says, hola, y'all. It's hot, dry 91 here in Fairfield today, about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Bloody hellfire. Yeah, we've had low 90s all week. This is the first day it's dipped below 90 degrees, which is not much of a relief, especially when it's that humid, but oh well. Heather's hair is long enough for a bun now. Wow, yeah, it's grown out a lot. She grew it out to show off various toppers and model them in the photo studio, but it has grown quite a bit. Cheryl says, what's going on with the air conditioner? Well, about a couple of years ago, our house, it looks like Heather's about to join us. About a couple of years ago, Heather,
Hello.
I know I look like a mess.
Okay.
My apologies. Can you hear me, Nigel?
I don't know if anyone can hear Heather or not, but are you all?
Can you hear me?
There we go. I can hear you now.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
had it muted.
I look like a mess. I haven't really been feeling that well this weekend, so I probably won't stay the entire stream. But I just want to make sure I said hello. And I'm in this room where we have two kitties that you'll probably see running behind me. That is Penny. Penny is 13, and I've had her since she was a kitten. She was living with John, but we decided that since we've got, a pretty nice house over here, we'd bring them all together. But it's a slow process. So obviously we've got Dexter. He's over here in a corner. We've got them in this room, but we have them separated from Gary and Scarlett because they need to kind of get through that phase where they're sniffing each other through the door and hissing at each other through the door and then getting over that and then, let them loose and they go play theoretically. So, but we just have to be patient. And until then, they've got like a little wonderland we set up behind us full of logos for Wigs Forever and Hair Kitty Kitty.
Hooray! And Sister Wigs.
Yes, of
Excellent.
course.
Of course, gotta be completely on brand. So there we go. Shameless self-promotion achieved. Anywho, yeah. To get back to the comments here, we had Cheryl asking what's going on with the air conditioner. Well, a couple of years, our house has two air conditioners, one for the downstairs and one for the upstairs. And a couple of years ago, the one for the upstairs broke, and for some reason, we complained about, but it's never been fixed. So we've got in the room that Heather and the other two cats are currently in has got its own dedicated little air conditioner unit, which you can see just over Heather's shoulder there. And it's quite loud. So yeah, but
yeah, I just unmuted my mic. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's a little bit noisy back there.
Yeah. So that's the only room upstairs that's getting any air conditioner, and I'm here sweltering away in the broadcast studio. Yeah, and dang no AC upstairs. I hope you'll be okay. That's why we're keeping this a nice, quick update today. Just a bit of news, bit of fun, bit of chat, bit of cocktails, and leave it at that. Colleen says, hi, Heather. I used your sale price about an hour ago. Grayson and Barbie Dreams are. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you. Let's see. Tina says, been on Inderal for about 30 years for migraine prevention. But you have my sympathies because Heather and I, like I said, we both get migraines and
yeah, I
have our sympathies.
I typically get cluster headaches, so I use oxygen. So I literally have an oxygen tank hanging out in our bedroom just in case. But right now, I don't know. I figured this is just part of being middle-aged, is that, you just randomly go through these issues and then it becomes like an organ recital, like this organ's falling apart and this organ's falling apart. I had to steal your joke, Nigel, because it's too good.
Yeah. The organ recital. Yes, indeed. Let's see what we got here. Yes, that is my channel on YouTube. Go visit this channel. Go visit this channel, folks. And hi, Heather. Yes, we hear you. You look better than you feel. Waving hugs. Heather, hope you feel better soon.
Thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate it.
Lynn says, sniff each other through the door. I remember when my husband and I walked out. Oh, I needed that laugh.
That's good. That's good. Now, these cats are kind of weird because I have to talk in a really high-pitched voice, like the kind of voice. It's not a cute voice, and I have to talk to them in this like really high-pitched baby voice. Oh my god, our faces got so big.
I can put it back if you like.
Yeah, I think I prefer that just for today. But if I say their names in a really high-pitched voice, they come out. And what's really weird is if I sing to Penny, she will come out and she will sing back to me, and she'll just sit there and go meow meow meow. It's too cute. So I might have to give you a demonstration, but I'll have to warn you in advance. It's loud. So Nigel, just I'm gonna go ahead and do this and see if I can get him to come out. Okay, but it sounds ridiculous, all right? And I'm wearing like a t-shirt that is entirely too large, so I look very frumpy right now. Whatever. I'm wearing bloomers to make up for it. Dexter!
That's fair enough.
Penny! Come here! Come here, Dexter! I told you, this is not a cute voice. Come here, buddy! Oh, that's my handsome fluffy man. This is Dexter. He's very, we call him Sexy Dexy because his fur is very, very long and luxurious, and he's very soft to the touch, and he knows he's a ladies' man. Where's Penny? Penny. I think I'll have to work on that. I'll have to sing to her a little bit more and get her to come out. But
That's fair enough.
I don't want to steal the whole show. I might work on her a little bit on mute and see if I can get her to come out.
All right, my sweet. All right, my sweet. Let's see where we are. Let's do a few more greetings to get us caught up, and then we'll crack on with the show. Kenny says, "Hi everyone." Hi, Kenny. Jay says, "I lost my dear kitty Twilight on the 14th. Oh, our heartiest condolences to you then, Shelley. Lost 4-year fight against terminal kidney disease. 20 years old, and I miss him terribly. I bet you do. I bet you do. We were struck pretty hard by poor little Chubbs. Cheryl cannot hear the AC. Good. I worry about Nigel in the hot room. That's why we're keeping it a shorter live stream today. And Serena, hello all. What's all this with falling apart? Like my shoulder? Yeah, how's your shoulder healing up there, my dear? We want to make sure that you're doing okay after your surgery. Heard about that on the Facebooks. And yeah, we wish you a speedy recovery on that one. Yeah, Heather's just been Heather has had a case of vertigo. We think it's to do with her migraines. So she's take it easy today and just basically drop by to say hi and all that. And
it's super mild, right? And it's only when I turn my head to a certain direction towards the right, and then all of a sudden the world starts to spin, and I'm like, whoa! And then I have to just kind of grab onto something. It's not super severe though, so I just want to put that out there. It's just kind of disconcerting because I'm like, this is abnormal. All right. Maybe I'm getting an ear infection or something. I have no idea. It's just something that popped up this morning. I tried to get out of bed and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, what's going on now?
Yeah. Well, it's been following you most of the day. So who knows what's going on there. I still think it might have to do with all the sodium we ate yesterday at that Mexican place. But we shall see. We shall see. Heather's going to take it easy today and we'll see how she feels in the morning. Just turned my AC since it's 85, and this will be record high temps coming with high humidity. I'm not a fan of that anymore. Give me 50 to 60 with dew points in 50s or lower is my jam. Yeah. I'm not a fan of this so much anymore either myself. I mean, we used to get quite high temperatures in Ohio, but they would frequently be dry heats. So, Lynn says, "Oh, he's a beauty." Kenny says, "Oh, so cute." Yeah. Cheryl says, "What a tail on Dexter." Oh yeah, it just never stops.
It's constant. He can
mind be of its own,
and it'll be doing that.
Mind of its own. Serena, what a pretty profile picture. Yes, we agree. Tina says, "Penny was named my Corgi Sheltie mix, and Penny Lover played on the radio the day I got her." Oh, that's cool.
That's adorable. Penny is a good name.
It is.
Penny.
Serena says, "I'm 9 days post-op. I start physical therapy in a few weeks." Well, we wish you great success with that. Great success.
Oh, that is a great profile picture.
Well it done. Is.
I love your lipstick.
Heather, your hair is so long.
Oh, hold on. Let me show you. It's very curly, so take it with a grain of salt. I mean, it's still what it is on top. There's no getting around that. I wear wigs and toppers for a reason. But yeah, and this is curly or whatever this is. I mean, it's curly-ish, but mainly fluffy, frizzy. But it's there. The humidity doesn't do it any favor, so just keep it back in a pony. But luckily, it's at that length where it's easy to do. And now the biggest problem is just keeping it flat underneath my wigs and toppers. And I usually do that with clips instead of a ponytail like this. But it's also really, really hot and humid in Georgia because Georgia is good at Georgia. So today I went with clothing that is entirely too big. This is all clothing I used to wear back when I was, over 200 pounds. I've kept most of my weight loss intact, but the clothing, so I'm holding this back a little bit so you can kind of see, like, I didn't regain a ton of weight, but like the clothing, when it's really super oversized, is so comfy.
Yeah.
it's kind of hard not to want to keep wearing it. I gotta hang out for a second. I hope you don't mind.
That's okay.
Ah,
That's
yeah.
okay. I mean, that's why I'm wearing this.
Too fast. I'm cool.
That's why I'm wearing this ultra lightweight Hawaiian shirt, and I'm wearing my a light pair of swim trunks instead of trousers or shorts or anything, because it's just so much lighter up here.
Oh, I got some questions about this. So Cheryl wanted to know how long has it taken me to grow it this long? Since the pandemic started. And I've cut it a couple times since then, because it just, the thing with PCOS hair is even if you grow it out, it still kind of does this thing where not only is it thin, but it's like hormonal and so it would get to a certain length, and then the ends would just become like an interesting experiment in how extreme split ends can become. And so I would just kind of cut them all off. I wouldn't even bother trying to measure it. Just so this is a couple very imprecise trims that I did on the fly because I got sick of the fuzzy stuff on the ends. Because if it's this fuzzy like this here, you can imagine how it gets when it gets to a certain length. But that's why I love that Carol's Daughter shampoo and conditioner, the black vanilla. I know that's made with for women with kinky hair, but it works really good for my hair too. The only thing is that my hair is still PCOS hair. But to answer your question, it's taken about 3 years to get it this length because it's curly, and every time it frizzes out, I trim it, and when it gets humid or I wash it, I lose like 2.5 inches just to the coiling.
So I was going to say, Stephanie's got an interesting thing. Meclizine, it's OTC, Dramamine, try it for the vertigo. Do you have anything like that, Heather?
No, because this has not really ever been an issue. If it persists tomorrow, I might have you go pick some up for me at the
happy to do that
or something.
Happy to do that. In fact, give me a sec. I'll make a note of it for you. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And because I'm dealing with this issue, I will not be drinking alcohol this evening. In fact,
I'll be drinking all her alcohol.
Yes, I'm having a large iced decaf latte with a shot of vanilla sugar-free flavoring in it. It's delightful. Didn't mean to plug Dunkin', but it's quite refreshing to have something like this on a hot day. And it doesn't really blow up my diet too much aside from all the cream that's in it.
Yeah, I filled mine up with, I had a lot of ice. They like to put a lot of ice in and not give you much coffee. So I topped it up with water, and I've just been rehydrating. Dramamine.
Oh, Colleen wants to know if Yvonne could possibly be cut into a Grayson somewhat. I could imagine that you could if you felt adventurous. Just be really careful when you're cutting it, because synthetic hair doesn't cut the same way as human hair. It's a little bit more rigid. And so it's not that the hair is necessarily harder to cut, though you could perceive it that way. I certainly do sometimes. But you really have to be careful how you're cutting it. You always kind of want to cut it at an angle, which makes blunt bangs and stuff like that harder to achieve. So the good news is that you're trying to soften that up, which is actually not that difficult, and adding layers is not that much different than with human hair. But if you wanted something really precise and straight, the way that the hair tends to lay is a little bit different in synthetic as opposed to human hair. But I think technically you could. Just make sure that you try it on one that you're not too attached to, or that you're okay risking, particularly if you've not cut a wig before, because I've made that mistake, particularly when I was brand new to wigs, where I would try to trim my own to get a little bit more life out of it. Because I had this idea, and I'm sure a lot of people actually have this notion that if they just get a wig that's slightly longer than what they anticipate that they will want, that they can just cut it, and over time it'll last a little longer because you can just keep trimming it. Maybe with human hair, but with synthetic wigs, that's very challenging because synthetic wigs can clump and tangle and get, frizzy in different ways than human hair. Like synthetic hair doesn't really frizz. It just kind of like gets kinky and then tangles up all the hair around it and becomes kind of like this bristly, spongy sensation. It's hard to explain unless you're a synthetic wig wearer, and then you're like, oh yeah, the spongy ends. I know what that's like. But trying to explain that to people who don't wear wigs is a challenge, because you're like, no, it's like it's like a Brillo pad, but not. Oh God, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Dizzy again?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Like I said, it's super mild. I'm not getting nauseous or anything when it happens. It's just kind of like a woo. It's like being on Okay, so I'll put it to you this way. It's not like what I'm experiencing is not like being on a roller coaster. It's more like being on a really slow carousel that little kiddies can ride. You know what I mean? So it's not that bad, and it subsides almost as soon as I right my head. But the fact that I'm not used to this, that this has been a today only kind of thing, it's like still a little it's throwing me off slightly. So
Well, Colleen says thanks for the answer.
yes, you're welcome. And I might have to go back to Stephanie's example, and I might have to figure out what's going on here.
Well, also, Dr. Serena says what Stephanie said, meclizine can help with vertigo. And Stephanie says, make sure it's the meclizine version. They make another one with a different drug that doesn't help with vertigo. And too much salt can definitely set it off.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, there we go. Because yesterday, and the thing is, I didn't even eat that much of the whatever that stuff is. I did not actually eat that much of that stuff. Yeah. But I think just because, I feel like I'm just more sensitive to that stuff now that I'm a smaller size, and I don't drink as much, which is why, I was like, get me the decaf, right? I know it's still got a little bit of caffeine in it, but I think it's more like a real light decaf tea sort of scenario.
Well, it was delicious, but it was noticeably very salty.
I didn't have much of it. I ate more of the ceviche.
Oh, the ceviche was bloody amazing.
The ceviche was super good.
Oh, love the ceviche.
And that's more my speed. I'm not really into a bunch of breaded, fried, heavy. Oh, particularly when it's this hot out.
Oh, yeah.
No, like give me light, salads to the extent that I can eat them. I still can't handle real fibrous stuff, but salads. I love Mediterranean food, that sort of thing. I don't know if any of you guys really are into Mediterranean food, but I love that stuff. It doesn't matter if it's like Greek or Lebanese or whatever. That stuff's amazing. Like Southern Italian food, delightful, especially all the seafood stuff that they do, char grilled and stuff. Oh, so good. But see, I want to eat that kind of stuff all year round, and especially this time of year, it's like give me more. But it's like our friends. They always, and Nigel's kind of guilty of this too. If it's battered, if it's deep fried, if it's crunchy, if it's carbolicious, it's gonna be the first thing that they grab.
Well, I'm English.
I thought that rule.
It's either batter dip. It's either batter dip and or deep fried, or in a pie, or in a sandwich, or puff pastry. That's basically our 4 food groups: is beige, and light beige.
Well, did you get gravy in there?
Gravy is in the beige group.
Okay. I wanted clarity. That's all. It's in the beige group.
It's in the dark beige group. Dark beige, more beige, light beige.
Okay. Yes. All right.
In the UK.
I get it. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Oh, Tina says, definitely don't see Oppenheimer until you feel better because it's loud. I just got a new book from, well, it's not a new book, it's new to me, from one of my favorite sci-fi authors, Robert J. Sawyer. He's Canadian. It's called The Oppenheimer Alternative, which is a sort of sci-fi alternate history take on Oppenheimer and his crew. So I've started to read that, meticulously researched, very interesting. Heather and I haven't been to a movie, and I swear this is going to sound like I'm making it up, but it's not. We haven't been to a movie since October 2019, and we saw the first Addams Family cartoon movie. So yeah, it's been a while. We just don't seem to get out much to see movies anymore. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, we skipped again. Yes, okay. Now, speaking of which, because Colleen says your sale is until 11:59 p.m. Yeah, where'd it go? I had a banner for it here somewhere. Come on, there we go. Our no drama sale is still on until midnight tonight. I put 11:59 p.m. in the announcements because every time I say midnight, everyone gets confused and goes on to the next day or expects it to start the previous day or something
Right, and
like
plus
that.
we have a global audience, so that can make it extra confusing. Yeah.
So let me see. What time is it now? It's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, more or less where we are. So as of this broadcast, you've got 5.5 hours, give or take a few minutes, to take advantage of our no drama sale. Automatic 37% off whenever you buy anything, and whenever you buy any wig in store. If you're part of the Patreon crowd, you get a little bit extra off with the Patreon coupon, and that includes everything in the store. So there you go, folks. No drama sale. It's on until midnight tonight. Pop over, get 30%, 37% off any wig you buy. Discount should apply automatically on checkout. And sorry, you're going to say, my sweet.
I reminded Dexter that there's food, but you can't see him behind this very expensive robotic.
Well, there he goes. Yeah, because it's a black, it's a silky black kitty shaped void in front of a black filing cabinet. Yeah.
Now, when he's there's actually like a little spot in there that he can hide. When he's in there, you can't see him. He gets all coiled up in there, and then you say his name, and then boom, the eyes open up, and you're like,
greeny yellow eyes show up.
The void stares back at you.
Yes.
Oh, buddy.
And then goes,
meep. He meeps. He's Dexter.
Cheaper to rent or buy. Streaming is awesome. It is generally. You just have to wait quite a bit. Oh, Serena says potatoes are beige.
True.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Yes, absolutely. Let's see.
Turnips are kind of beigey, aren't they?
What are?
Turnips?
Depends on the turnip. I mean, you get a Swede, or what you call a rutabaga here in the States. Those are like golden yellow.
Ah.
And sometimes, you get turnips. They can be white. All depends on the turnip. Anyway, starting on the booze, because it's about time to talk about the booze today. This is something I stumbled across today at our nearby petrol station. Are these pirate water canned cocktails? And since all you comes from pirate country, I figured why not give these a try. They got 4 kinds. They got margarita. We got sex on the beach. We have Bahama Mama. And we have Miami Vice. Now, the thing about these is, I'm not sure if these were part of a multi-pack and then broken up, because it doesn't really say much about the ingredients or anything in it. It says the best you get is it's 10% alcohol by volume. Serving size is 5 fluid ounces, so you have 3.25 servings per can. And it says, contains alcohol. Well, I should bloody hope so. Flavored malt beverage. Malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors. Certified color. So this is color with, that's been through an accreditation program, apparently. And FD&C yellow number 5. And none of these say much more than that. So whatever the ingredients are, it's a mystery to me because I haven't looked at the official website yet. But if anyone has tried these, please let us know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, in the comments below, what you think of these things, what your favorite flavors are. Saw these, figured why not give them a go. Get all the condensation off them. But yeah, figured we'd give these a go. And Heather would like me to find the least acidic one so she can have a try later. I'll see what it goes. So start with the margarita. That's probably quite acidic to begin with. So margarita pirate water. Drink hail, everyone.
The Torty. That's Penny.
Hi, Penny.
she's mad at me right now because we have 4 cats in the house. So I waited until they got a little bit comfortable. And then today, when I was giving them their wet food, I zapped all of them with advantage because, you know, even though they're strictly indoor only cats, I don't want to end up with fleas. You know, I don't want any of them to end up with that. And I know that, you know, this house being a new build or relatively new construction, that you know, have you told them about the centipede invasion of 2023 or the millipede invasion of 2023?
No, I haven't. I was going to do that in the news section because I haven't actually got to the news section yet.
Okay, well then I'll wait for that. But
Okay.
you know, if we're dealing with like a whole army of millipedes, myriad millipedes, then
Myriad myriapods.
yes,
For the
myriad
scientific minded.
myriapods. There we go. I feel like I should just play it safe. And all of the cats are cool with it except Penny. Penny doesn't trust me now. She's like, and she'll even make that face. I just tried to give her treats and she went like
She's got resting Grimalkin face.
she narrowed her eyes and she's like, I don't trust you. This might smell like a very Athens, Georgia themed treat. It is rockin' rock lobster flavored. Right?
But it wasn't a rock.
It was a rock lobster.
Lobster. Okay, Heather, this one is very limey and quite acidic. I don't think you'd like this one.
I mean, I like lime flavored stuff. Like I like the ceviche, but that gave me terrible heartburn yesterday.
Yeah, and this is quite sour. I don't think this would agree with you. So
Oh,
yeah,
and I also want to say Colleen has it right. No fleas, no worms. Woot. Yes.
I'm gonna try this sex on the beach next.
And I also agree with Tina, by the way. No spiders. We don't need no stinking spiders. I mean, even cute little jumping spiders, I like them, but they can stay outside.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, you know, as the manly male of the guy persuasion, I'm on invertebrate removal duty.
I've been helping with the millipedes because they're pretty chill.
They're very chill. But for the most part, I'm the one that puts out most of the invertebrates that invade the house. But there are 2 exceptions. I make 2 exceptions to the 3 exceptions. Okay, silverfish and black widows get an instant death sentence. And
also palmetto bugs because screw them.
Okay, cockroaches, silverfish, and black widows get an instant death sentence. And the cellar spiders, which are also known as daddy longlegses, they get to live wherever the hell they want because they eat black widows. They can stay. We like them. They're harmless. They stay in one place. We like them. But everything else, you know, gets shuffled onto a piece of paper and put outside. Excuse me. Taking this stream to go on a dog walk. Hey, cool, excellent.
What kind of doggy do you have?
Yes.
I demand more information because that sounds adorable. We definitely do not have dogs. We are cat folk up in here, but I like puppies too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Still trying to decide on this one.
What's that one?
This is the sex on the beach.
Okay, let's make ourselves embiggened. Oh my god. Okay.
Sex on the beach. This is a bit. I don't know. I think that one's on the cusp. It's okay until you get to the aftertaste, and then it kind of.
Oh, here I'll make us less embiggened because they can actually see Penny now. She's right there, and she's a tortie with tortitude. You know what I mean? She's actually very sweet and she's very musical. I call her my music cat because I sing to her and I play music. And she just goes along with it, and it's adorable. But she is very pretty. She looks like all the colors of Halloween baked into a single cat. But she's still mad at me right now.
Unfortunately, she's also got resting Grimalkin face.
Yes. Well, she's also salty with me because I gave her medication.
Bahama Mama. We'll give this one a try.
Hi, Petey.
She keeps trying to lick it off. She can't. I put it in the spot right above where she can reach with her tongue. So she's trying, but she's not getting very far.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with these, but so far 3 out of 3 have a weird kind of aftertaste. I think this so far is the least acidic. You might get a kick out of this one.
See, I think that's the problem with a lot of those like malt liquor beverages. They all kind of have that funky taste. Like I tried those Simply drinks that they have, like Simply spiked lemonade or whatever they call it, and it's malt liquor. And it's so disappointing because they actually have good lemonade. They should make good drinks with that good lemonade, but no, they're just making malt liquor stuff and slapping the branding on it.
Well, so far I think this one is probably the nicest one so far. I'll try the Miami Vice in a second. And
she's still trying real hard to lick that advantage off.
I don't blame her. No one likes to have goop slathered on their shoulder blades.
Yeah, and the thing is, I gave her like Sorry, give me just a sec.
Okay.
It's kind of unpredictable when it's gonna creep up on me, the little bit of vertigo I'm dealing with, because it's like I get up, I sit down, I went out in the garden today, right? I mean, and it was only when I moved my head in kind of specific ways that it actually happened. But the rest of the time I was fine, and so it's kind of hard to avoid triggering it when it goes, because I still haven't quite figured out what the combination is. It's like when you're playing Mortal Kombat, you're trying to figure out what the exact combination of buttons to mash will actually make it punch.
And all of a sudden, you do Reptile's Force Bomb, and how the hell did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's back, both punch buttons. Okay, fine.
Hi, baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Miami Vice thing now. See what this is like. Oh, it's very bright red, pink. Oh, that's quite nice.
Now, what's the flavor of Miami Vice?
Buggered if I know.
Other than pastel, feathered hair,
It's
Lamborghinis, white suits.
Now you know these are all slightly acidic, and they've all got a bit of a funny aftertaste. And so it's an interesting experiment, but don't think I would repeat it.
And you know what? I think I'm going to stay away then, because I'm not that big of a fan anyway.
Fair enough. I'll get slaughtered tomorrow then.
I look so different without my contouring. Like I feel like I want to even my face out.
Oh, you're pretty. Shut up.
I don't go on camera without makeup very often.
Right. So let's see. We have some other people talking about what their favorite stuff is. Lynn says, I'm having a buzzball pina colada. I had extra pineapple juice. That sounds bloody amazing. Love pina coladas. Don't you, Heather?
Sorry, I was talking to Dexter. What's up?
Pina coladas, fantastic, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, but it's one of those things where it depends on how they're mixed. I love mixed drinks, but I know that the more acidic they are, the more I need ice to be blended up with them so I don't get terrible heartburn.
Yeah. Colleen says Cabernet and Merlot lady here. Mayoimi or Josh brands. Ooh, excuse me. Any other comments about cocktails? Any bug comes into my home is not going to survive. If outside, totally fine with them.
I understand that stance and I respect it.
Oh, Colleen says her dog's a Chi Rat Terrier mix named Blue or Boo Boo.
Oh, boo-boo.
Bet that's cute. Shortitude.
Dude, that's right. All day. You
And
can see
yes,
they're more relaxed now though, because I said goofy things to them with my mic off. Seriously, that high-pitched voice gets them every time. I don't know what it is. He tries it. It doesn't work. It's like literally it has to be high, like a little kid's voice, or like me going, "Hi guys," that sort of thing.
Oh, here's something interesting. Cheryl says, pirate water ingredients. Pirate water is essentially seawater that has been filtered and purified. It does not contain any significant amount of vitamins or minerals. Studies have found that pirate water may contain high levels of sodium, which is not ideal for those who have pirate water is calorie-free and does not contain any carbs or sugars. That's why it's got a funny aftertaste. Artificial sweeteners, then. Okay, and high sodium, so you shouldn't be drinking them anyway, Heather. So, oh well. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen. I have my mic off, but it's nice to see you.
Yes, indeedy. Oh, what's this? Went to SOS Tiki Bar in Decatur. It was great. Oh, love tiki bars.
There's a tiki bar in Decatur. We need to go to there, Nigel, when we're feeling better. Maybe we can do that next weekend or something.
Filthy-wordlutely.
Woohoo!
Cheryl says the sodium is why I posted this. Thank you, Cheryl. Greatly appreciated. But that was very timely considering Heather's migraines. Yeah, we should avoid that, definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm drinking plenty. I mean, I'm hoping this will help with the diuretic element a little bit because it's, even though it's decaf, it's still going to have some of that in it. But yeah,
I'll continue hydrating with this water.
I also hate the fact that when you have too much salt, everything looks puffy. My face looks extra puffy. My ankles are extra puffy. I can barely close my hands because they feel puffy. It's like, but then again, sodium is delicious.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Finally caught you live. Yes, you did. Good timing too.
By the way, you look wonderful in long hair.
Yeah, good timing too, because we're because of the weather and the lack of air conditioning in the upstairs. We're doing a quick, brief live stream tonight. So we won't be on the usual hour and a half to 2 hours tonight.
But you can see our kitties.
You can see there's Dexter.
There's Dexter, and Penny is hiding. I've mentioned it a couple times, but she's mad at me because I gave them all advantage today. She feels betrayal, but Dexter doesn't care. He's got a catnip carrot behind him, so he's good.
SOS is hard to find, hidden in an alley. Walked by it 5 times, but it was worth it. That sounds all right. We'll look into that.
Hidden jewel indicator.
Yes. And Kathleen says, "Oh, adorbs."
Yeah, he knows it too. That Dexter, he knows that. He's very seductive. He does the classic thing where he'll lure you in with that magnificent tail, and then right when you go to pet him, he'll make sure he flops on the floor about 1.5 inches too far for you to reach him. But he's also a complete weirdo. He loves belly rubs. Absolutely loves it. They're his favorite
cat
thing.
Who likes belly rubs.
He loves them.
And will not try to scratch your face off when you do so. I'm just in the process of, something. These Duncan carriers are also good for your canned cocktails. So there you go. That's good. I'll put those back in the fridge later.
Proof of concept. I'm rubbing his belly.
He's proof of concept. Rubbing his belly.
Yeah.
So current topic is general news and updates. We'll get this section out the way. It's been a hell of a week for Heather and myself, which is why we've got this no drama sale which is still on until midnight tonight, because this last week has been a lot for us. Nothing catastrophic, really. Just a lot of little things adding up. One of the big things is that Heather and I are considering moving. Heather wants to be closer to her family back up in Ohio because her dad had another health scare. And if Heather wants to go further into it, I'll let her do that.
Sure. I'll give you a little bit of information about it. My dad, as you know, he used to be kind of like a partier. Putting it mildly. And so, he's had history of heart attacks, etc. And you probably, if you've been following us for a while, you'll remember when I went up to Ohio because he was at the Cleveland Clinic getting a quadruple bypass. He's since had a stent put in the other artery. So all of them have been worked on at some point going in and out of his heart. But now he's dealing with recurring liver cancer. So this is now the second time that he's had it. The Cleveland Clinic has told him that it's just going to keep coming back until he can no longer fight it off. And so I'm thinking I should probably be closer to my dad. I should probably be within about an hour of him, just in case, he needs me or something happens. So I've been talking with my mom and my stepmom and my brother, and we're all kind of coordinating together to see how I can get up there to try to help take care of that. That's also part of the reason why I have the cats now because I wanted them all together, and I'm planning to buy a house. So I've never owned a home before. This will be my first home. It's a terrible market. Absolutely garbage time to be trying to buy a home for the first time. Luckily, I have some money to throw down in my 401k that I'm going to use for this, but the interest rates are really terrible. I was hearing 7 and 8% while I was applying. So that adds to the drama because it's like, you know, yeah, I get a whole 5 days to decide as opposed to during, you know, the time during the pandemic when everybody had like a day, you know, they were being encouraged to waive inspections and stuff like that. Like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I like to take my time. I like to research stuff. You know, that's how I got into the wig thing, was because, you know, I was clicking around looking for resources to try to find out about a wig before I bought it. And that's like $150, $200 investment, not a $250,000 investment.
Yeah.
And it's like the prices have just shot up completely. But I digress. That is dramatic in and of itself, as you could probably imagine. The fact that my dad's going through this stuff is kind of dramatic, though I will say the drama is not coming from him. He's being chill. He went golfing this weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's a survivor. He's
in great spirits, honestly. And he's really proud of me for continuing to work, even though he's going through all this. So he's that kind of dude. But I still want to go up there and be with them.
Of course.
We're going through that drama. There's also the health drama that I mentioned earlier, just really briefly. They're still trying to figure out what's going on with my tummy tuck scar because it didn't heal right. So I had a CT scan with contrast, which was an experience. If you have a gastric sleeve, so this is like a PSA, if you have a gastric sleeve or an altered stomach and you need to go get any kind of internal like CT scan with the contrast, the solution that you have to tell the technicians. You have to tell the technicians because their normal protocol is to give you 2 big glasses of this stuff to drink that has iodine and stuff in it. And if you have a sleeve or an altered stomach, you can't drink all of that. Not within the time frame that they have set aside for you to do so. So you have to tell them in advance, and then they have to give you like an ultra concentrated version of it, and they have to supplement it with IV. So I literally had an IV and oral contrast, and the oral contrast was highly concentrated, and some lovely, wonderful older gentleman that was sitting across from us in the waiting room watching me drink this was just cracking up. And then at the end, when he got done with his scan, because he was done before me, he walked by me and he was like, I could tell that wasn't Kool-Aid. He was right. It was absolutely disgusting. But they were able to see what was going on. And wouldn't you know, they found another ovarian cyst.
Yay!
It's like I got down into the healthy weight range. You know, now I'm like, but I am on the cusp of overweight, right? Like, and you can kind of see that, whatever. But like, seriously, I'm not you know, diabetic. I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. My PCOS is in check. You know, I'm on
apart from that one gigantic cyst.
But I have a freaking cyst again. I was so angry about that. Like, so annoying. But yeah, and so that's just on top of all the other stuff we're dealing with. So I'll and my work. I had to finally tell my job that this is unsustainable because they're working me like almost 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I can't keep that up.
I occasionally get to talk to my wife.
Yes. And I occasionally get to do things for her kitty. It's really frustrating because I would like to do a lot more. And it's gotten to the point where I literally just had to straight up tell them, I was like, if I actually put this amount of time into my own business, I would be making more money than I am working for you. So you have to fix this, right? Because I did this to have a steady income while we built up the business. I can't build up the business if you're taking up all of my time. And so, yeah, we're working on that too. But that's just all the drama that hit this week on my end. How about you, honey?
Well, let's see. I'm going to add to what you said about looking for a house back up in Ohio to be close to your folks. Heather's mother used to work in the building trades, and so we asked her to help her. We asked her to help us look at houses because we can't be going up and down all the time. So she checks out houses for us, and she's got a good eye for everything that's wrong in a house.
Yeah, she was a master drywall finisher in the painters union, so she knows all about the construction trades. She's really good.
Yeah, so we asked her to look at this house. that we had our eye on. It was pretty impressive. It's one of these old sort of Victorian / Edwardian looking houses with a historical plaque on it and everything. And all the pictures in the on the realtor's website looked amazing. Finished wooden library with just wood everywhere, looking absolutely gorgeous. And it was only going for something like $275,000. And so Heather and I were like, "This is amazing. So what's wrong with it?" And so Heather's mum agreed to go and have a look at it, and she was finding cracks in the walls, cracks in the ceiling. The door frames were rotting. There was bat guano coming out from under the eaves. So there's probably bat guano inside the attic, which means, decomposition of the attic.
Gross
timbers,
Yeah.
grossness, ammonia. And then, library absolutely gorgeous. And then she asked to look into the basement.
Yeah, because they didn't even mention on the MLS. There's no mention of a basement.
They
None.
didn't even mention the basement on the realtor's website. There were no pictures of it. And the realtor, when he was showing her mother around the house, said, "Oh, no, you don't want to look at the basement." And that's generally code for, "Yes, you most definitely want to look at the basement."
Yes.
So she went down there, no electricity, flooded, asbestos in the rafters. So we figured, nah.
Yeah, we got a health hazard above, a health hazard below, a cracked foundation, and cracks up the walls. I was like, no, what are we doing here? And it was so freaking frustrating because when the initial realtor we talked to, we've since ditched this guy and moved on to the one that my brother worked with because I figured I might as well go with the referral since this is how this first time with this one dude went. He had his camera out and he's moving his arm around, moving it all over the place. Like, look at that. These walls are stunning. There's not a crack in sight. Everything looks great. The foundation looks solid. The paint looks good. The wood trim outside might need a little work, but everything else looks great. And the only place where he actually stopped moving the camera was in that library because the woodwork was frankly stunning.
Yeah.
You could tell they put a lot of effort into maintaining the woodwork in that library because it was gorgeous. But everything else around it was a crumbling mess.
Yeah.
And, I'm not buying a place based on a wood facade on a wall. I want, I could put that up if I really wanted it. I really want to just see if the thing is solid. And the fact that he misrepresented that on purpose, because the pictures my mom ultimately sent when she went out there afterwards, because he showed us virtually. And I was like, no, my mom needs to go see this first. Right. Yeah. Go moms. Hooray for moms, because my mom went out there and, she was taking pictures of this. She's like, look at this. Look, do you see this? Look at this. And she's like showing me pictures on the sly where the realtor guy can't see that she's taking them. And then after a while, she just got bolder and started taking them right in front of him. She's like, see this? This is asbestos. Click, 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 because he tried to pull shenanigans, absolute shenanigans. And so now I know that the kind of houses where the price isn't grossly inflated are going to come in basically 2 different flavors. They're going to be absolute fixer-uppers where they're going to need significant structural corrections, not just cosmetic changes. So no, thank you. Not with interest rates this high. We're not doing that. And then the other one is tiny. They're tiny and kind of ugly, but they're solid. But they're tiny. So it's kind of it's like figuring out which one we would actually be most comfortable with, because I don't actually want to buy, a house that maxes my budget. I kind of want to go a little bit lower than what I can afford, just so we have some room for growth.
Yeah. But so that's what's happening. And speaking of houses, as Heather mentioned earlier, we're having a millipede invasion in our house. It's warm and humid outside, and so all the little multi-legged critters are thinking, hey, you know what, it's cool in this big cave, so let's all go into this big cave. And occasionally we'll catch a roly-poly or something like that. And we just had the exterminators come around and work on the wasps and the ants, the fire ants, and that he said, oh yeah, you'll probably get some palmetto bugs coming in as well, and lots of other critters trying to come in. So I thought, oh great. But even before that, for like a month beforehand, we've been seeing millipedes, and they're adorable, and they're slow moving, and they're actually kind of cute. But we're turfing out like 8 to 12 every single day. Like one morning I went in there were 4 of them crawling around in the bathroom alone.
There are so many of them, and we get roly-polies. I've been seeing roly-polies too.
Yeah, I mentioned those. We had a couple of them, but not too many. But as many as like 12 millipedes every day.
Okay, I changed the screen a little bit because we got a request to show a picture of the library. So this is actually the house that we were talking about. This is the library. Beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. That is
beautiful period library.
That is drool worthy.
It was
drool worthy.
Very well preserved, but literally, outside of this room, everything is a mess with this house.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's what that one looked like.
And the other big thing is Heather wanted to go up, to Ohio also to see, not just to see her dad and, have a look at various properties, but also because her birthday is coming up shortly. So she wanted to visit, friends and family for birthday. So she might be traveling shortly soon. And the other problem is I might have to be traveling soon anyway, because my mom is 90, coming up on 91 years old.
Just throw it out there for the record. We would not be doing it at the same time. We have cats, so one of us would be at the house at all times because we're not trying to broadcast that we would both be gone. So please come rob us. No.
No.
No, we'd be
we're definitely going to do this staggering, but
yeah.
That's why we have to travel separately. It's not because it's not because of the usual Hollywood power couple. Oh, we're still very much in love, but that means one of them got photographed at a party with a guy in a Malamute costume.
What? What? Where are you coming up with this?
I'm just thinking,
where this is going.
Look, you know what it's like whenever Hollywood power couples travel separately, or you don't see them together very often. There's this thing about, oh, they're still very much in love, says the official press release, but it's because one of them got caught with 3 random people in handcuffs at a party or something like that.
Dexter is pretty sexy.
That's not in question.
So that might be scandalous.
But anyway, no, we will be traveling separately because we have the cats to look after. But yeah, one of the other things is surprise vet bills aren't fun. So Dexter, he was limping. He was limping last week. So Heather, and not even putting weight on his left front paw. So we took him into the emergency vets, and they charged us over $300 to look at him and say, no, there's nothing broken. Must be a soft tissue thing.
Yeah, we theorized it was a scorpion.
We figured he got on the wrong end of a scorpion. We got these little tiny scorpions in our area.
Scorpions. Yeah.
So we figured it was. I figured it was something like that, and Heather agrees with me. So it's possibly something like that. He's completely fine now. He was just limping for a while, but he seems to be fine now.
Is it okay if I move on to some comments, honey?
I just want to say one more thing in terms of the current news and updates. So the other thing about us traveling separately, because I will be traveling at some point in the not too distant future. My mom is coming up on 91 years old, and she has been targeted by scammers. Mm-hmm. Scammers who come to her house, and she's only about 5'2" at this point, and they come over, and she's sitting in her chair, and they lean over and say, "I've come to inspect your roof." And they go upstairs and they walk around a bit and case the joint, and then come down and say, "Ooh, well, you've got something or other, blah, 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 up in your rafters, and you'd better get that seen to, or else your whole roof will collapse and you'll be out of a home." And then she says, "Oh dear," and writes them a bunch of checks. So I'm going to have to, at some point soon, I'm going to have to go back home and
be the enforcer.
Be the enforcer. scare off any more scammers, install some security measures, and do a bunch of other things for my mother so this doesn't happen again. Well, I'm not going to say it, but I'll just say I headhunter trophy staff and leave it at that.
All right, I'm moving on to some comments now.
Let's move on to some comments.
Yeah.
But before you do that, that is why we're running a no drama sale. We are sick of drama today. We figure you guys might not have time for drama, so that's why the no drama sale is running for another 5 hours as of this point. So you can go in, get 37% off anything, any wig, automatically when you check out. Done.
Excellent. All right, moving on. So Cheryl White says, so moving permanently, probably, but it depends. I don't actually like living in Ohio that much. Not to diss Ohio. Ohio in the springtime is beautiful.
Ohio in the summertime is quite nice.
It's quite nice. Fall is beautiful. The winters are atrocious, particularly in Northeast Ohio because you get the lake effect snow.
Oh.
I hate snow. I am not a skier. I don't own like a sled dog team. I don't have a snowmobile. I am not a big fan of driving in snow. And I get Raynaud's phenomenon, because middle-aged, health issues, whatever, all of us have different things falling apart. But when I get hit with extreme cold, my extremities all turn white and they go numb. So that's super fun. And by the way, I've heard that a lot of folks that have autoimmune disorders, which I don't have, I just have Raynaud's syndrome. So it's like this is by itself. But there are folks out there with like lupus and stuff who get this as part of their disorder. Serena says, yeah, we dodged a bullet with the mortgage. As much as we hated it, we had to waive inspection if we wanted a house in our part of Maryland. Yeah, that's what my brother had to do. He had to just jump right in. But luckily, he was working with a realtor and a mortgage provider and a whole team of people who were on top of that. And they were working very, very quickly. So hopefully they will do the same for me now that I'm working with the same group of folks. Better do your due diligence. Oh, yeah. That's why I'm happy I have my mom on my side. She's very, very good with that stuff. Kathleen says, thank you for letting me know about the contrast. No one ever told me that I needed it concentrated. It is disgusting. I recommend bringing chewy gum or mints. I had Orbit gum in my purse. So in between swigs, I would just cram a stick of that gum in my throat. And I would literally plug my nose or like just try to, chug it as quickly as possible because it was disgusting. But yeah, the volume is a killer if you do it the conventional route. So definitely say something beforehand. AW says, I wish it was as easy as taking a tablet for any procedures requiring the drinking of a large amount of contrast or PEG solution. Oh my God, that stuff is disgusting. Yes, I would be hard on board with that. And actually, I was initially very relieved when they were like, yeah, we're going to give you an IV for contrast. I was like, good. Yay, I don't have to drink this stuff. And then they were like, no, we need to drink the stuff too. I was like, God, dang it. Tita says, I had a hard time drinking the stuff they give you to check if you're diabetic. Oh, that I have had that before because I've had blood glucose tests a couple of times. The stuff I had was like world's worst tang. Can't recommend. 0 out of 10. It was really, really gross. Let's see. Yes, Kathleen agrees. Yeah, disgusting. It's just so gross. Why can't they give you just like a Snickers bar? They could make that so much more pleasurable if they felt inclined to do so. And it probably cost less. You could just go to the drugstore, get a Reese's cup, and here, see if this raises your blood sugar. I mean, you'd have people knocking down the door to take that test.
I'd take it 4 times a day.
Yeah, right. AW says, this is why I can't bring myself to buy a beautiful old house. They're all definitely haunted and have myriad issues that equal hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs. I know, but they're so pretty. I
could deal with haunted. I'm from Devonshire, the most haunted county in the most haunted country in the world. I can deal with haunted. Rising damp.
Yeah. No, but we are both suckers for that Victorian Edwardian vibe. They're just so beautiful. But you can always tell when one of them's actually been renovated because the ones that are renovated are like over $500,000 minimum. They're very, very expensive. So I should have known better that the one that I was looking at was a complete train wreck dumpster fire because it was under that amount. AW says, my husband and I send each other listings for old houses to rate them on a scale of 1 to 1,000,000 on hauntedness. We should totally do that because that's hilarious.
Yes.
We got the picture of the library taken care of. Yes, shenanigans for sure.
A nice word for it. Oh, I've got so many words. Most
Yeah.
of them are unrepeatable, in polite company. Some of them involve swear words that have not been used in 1,000 years in the English language.
Terry Sue makes videos for you, says, good luck with the house hunt. Lots of nice houses in Ohio, though, and I'm glad your mom can help. So am I. And thank you very much. AW says, I would rather do a tiny, ugly, and solid. You can apply for a permit to add an addition to the house. I completely agree. Actually, we're on the same page. The only thing we got to make sure of is we're not beholden to an HOA, and that it's in an area where those kinds of permits are kind of easy to come by. So I've been looking at places that are like not necessarily in the sticks, but sticks adjacent. So that way, we have a little bit of wiggle room. We might be able to get some land, hopefully, so we can build onto it. Because I totally feel you. And in fact, I've even flirted with the notion of a tiny home, but now we've got 4 cats, so we can't do tiny home. That would just be weird. But let's see. It's absolute nightmare fuel, but it's walking distance to a Baskin Robbins and a Chipotle. So we're asking $500,000. There are a lot of houses on the market right now that fit that exact description.
That is depressingly accurate. Thank you, Shannon.
Yes. And by the way, your lashes are on point in that photo. Oh my goodness, girl. Let's see. Colleen says stink bugs are unique, shaped like a dang shield. Stink bugs. I use a diatomaceous earth outside to try to keep them to a minimum because they eat all of my zinnias. They look like Swiss cheese if I let them go.
Here's the thing about stink bugs. People are complaining about the Joro spiders that have invaded Georgia, and generally I'm against preserving an invasive species. But the thing about Joro spiders is they're about the size of face huggers. But the thing about them is they're the only species that will eat brown marmorated stink bugs, which is another invasive species. So if we've got one species eating another invasive species, I'm happy to let the Joro spiders, hang out, especially because they make great living Halloween decorations.
Yeah, the neighbor's little girl. She's what, 4? Is Emerson 4?
I think she's 6 now. She's starting kindergarten. Yeah,
flies. But last year she was like, I like that spider, because it was like right outside her bedroom window because it looked like a living Halloween decoration. And they don't really move much. They just kind of hang out.
They sit there.
Oh, is Scarlet there?
I've got a Scarlet. Hang on, wait a minute.
Scarlet loves Nigel.
She buggered off again.
Yeah, she's shy, but she loves Nigel. He's very cute. He went from having 0 to 4 cats, and he's taking it like a champ.
Oh, she liked this.
Yeah, and he likes the kitties, and it's super cute.
I do like cats. It's just I never had any before.
Yeah, you never had like fuzzy.
I never had fuzzy pets. No.
Let's see.
She's out.
We see AW said, yeah, we will have to do VA as well. Limits us on some simpler properties, but safer choices regarding inspections. Oh, yeah. Tina says, my great aunt and uncle were talking to putting vinyl over stucco. Oh, no. Oh, no. Why? Oh, my God. I can't imagine why their kids would be happy, because as that stucco starts to fail, everything underneath is just gonna, oh, boy. Maybe in Southern Ohio. Southern Ohio has me a little scared because of that thing that went on in East Palestine, or however they pronounce it. You remember that whole ecological disaster thing that happened last year, right, Nigel?
Oh, that was over towards the Pennsylvania border.
That was in East Palestine, right? But like the watershed goes.
Oh, the water
down,
table filtering down to the Ohio River.
I'm kind of like, wow, these house prices are really good. Oh, because you're economically depressed and it's toxic. Okay. Yeah. So maybe not, but I am interested in maybe central-ish, like Worcester-ish, Ohio.
Hey, we could go tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Ohio.
Oh, yeah, there's a city called Morrow.
This is fantastic. if you've ever watched the Muppet Show, they did an opening number called the Country Trio, and it's Muppet versions of the three main Muppeteers: Jim Henson, Frank Oz, and Jerry Nelson. And it's a song about trying to catch a train to the town of Morrow. So he wants to go tomorrow today and get back again this evening. And it's all this back and forth and back and forth. And I found out that there is a night airport up in northern Ohio. So technically you could fly in tonight and get tomorrow by this evening and then go on to Day Heights tomorrow. So it's fantastic. There's all sorts of stuff that we could do with that.
Seems like we should just make that like a day trip.
Yes.
A day trip tomorrow.
A day trip tomorrow. But we'd have to leave yesterday to get there today to get tomorrow.
Yes. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Shelly says, Heather, if you're not planning on living in Ohio permanently, I recommend renting there instead. You can always purchase a house later if you decide to stay there. I don't actually think that may be true for much longer because of what's going on with the housing markets and investment.
Oh yeah,
all the houses.
Investment brokers buying up all the houses to rent to people at inflated prices.
Yeah, if you're not already in the market, you may at this moment already be priced out of it. Like I'm not a super high earner, but I'm a high earner, right? I've been like that for the better part of a decade at this point. And even with, my savings and the amount of money that I make, it's still difficult to get into even a normal little house because all of the prices are so jacked up. And then compounding issues is that the interest rates are just super duper high. But I feel so bad for younger millennials because like I was born right at the cusp between Gen X and millennial, but I consider myself a millennial because I graduated with my undergrad in 2010. So a lot of the same economic stuff that affects millennials still affects me. And because I graduated during the Great Recession. And so my income is suppressed in a similar fashion, but maybe not as severely as people who are younger than me. And I feel so bad for them because not only are their wages going to be suppressed, but the number of opportunities are going to be really limited. The number of jobs available are going to diminish. And what's worse is that the housing prices, I mean, if I were looking to rent, the world would be my oyster right now because so many investment firms and individual investors are buying up houses to convert them into rentals that you have a lot of opportunities to rent. It's just the rent's going to be more expensive than a mortgage would be. Yeah. So, that I don't know if that problem is actually going to get better. I think that this is, unless the government steps in to help it, this is just going to keep creating more of a division between people who were already in the market and people who are struggling to get into it. Because can you imagine if you're like, our rent here is $2,300 a month for rent. And that is below average. The average across the country is about $1,900 for rent. And that's for apartments or for homes. And so can you imagine paying $1,900 a month for rent? And if you're in a situation like ours, you're paying for lawn maintenance, which is about $300 a month. You're paying all the utilities. Your landlord doesn't pay for any of them. So that's several $100s a month. You're paying for renter's insurance. And you're also paying for some of the repairs. I mean, things are not like they used to be where back
where the landlord was beholden to actually, sorry.
Let me say this bit.
Sorry.
Because and the reason why I want to cut him off is he's never actually paid rent before. And, so I could tell you from my own experience, like literally when I first entered the rental market when I was 17, my rent was about $475 a month. That same rundown, crappy apartment in Canton would be over $1,000 now. And I'd probably have to pay all the utilities, whereas back then it was $475 and my landlord paid most of the utilities. And I would probably be beholden for most of the repairs. Whereas back in the day, landlords took care of most of the repairs. That was kind of the point of renting.
Well, right. Yeah, that's the thing. When we lived in when we lived in Ohio the first time around, the landlords were always responsible for repairs to the house, unless I did something like fell down the stairs and put my foot through a wall, which happened once. then we had to pay for the repairs. But if it was something like a door breaking or the air conditioner breaking down, the landlord had to do the repair, had to pay for it. So
Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of eager to get into the housing market while I still have a window to do that, because I'm afraid that if I don't, I will never have this opportunity unless, and this is the sad thing, unless literally 2008 repeats itself and the entire housing market crashes, I will not be able to buy in again. So I kind of have to jump while I still can. So while I would agree with you under any other circumstances, Shelley, this would have been great advice 10 years ago. I think honestly, the housing market has shifted so radically that if you don't already own a home, you're screwed. And so you kind of have to get into one while you still can before they all become investment properties like Airbnbs or something like that.
Yeah. It's just gotten insane. It's like big conglomerates are making it impossible for the American dream to happen anymore.
Cheryl, yes, 4 cats. But they're all very chill, indoor only. I hope that eventually they will all get along and be super cuddly with each other because they're all very cuddly with us. So, but
they're all very friendly cats. Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking it real slow and steady. Kathleen says, I love the country. Good luck with your house search. Thank you. Oh, and I agree with Tina. That's right. Right on. Yes. I want to be able to actually build if I'm stuck in a small home for sure. Though I will not do like some folks do in certain parts of the country where they have like broke down cars all over their lawn or something like that. Like no plans to get quite that rural with it. Nor do I want to be a farmer. But yeah, I feel you on that. Let me see. AW says, we thought $300,000 was highway robbery when we were pre-approved at 3.7% a few years ago. Now we won't find that at 7%. Still waiting. Absolutely, 100%. And you're very fortunate that you have that VA. My brother took advantage of that, and he got into a beautiful home that he renovated, flipped during the pandemic, and was able to get into an even nicer home. And he said he's done. This is his end goal. This is the home he's going to stay in, and it's beautiful. It's
a very nice house.
I'm so proud of him. He played that so well.
Yeah.
I wish I were in a position to do the same, but at that time we had a lot of stuff going on with the business, and I was basically funneling a ton of money into the business, and so there was no way I would have had the money set aside to be able to go in on a house at that time. Let's see. Cheryl says, here's some good info for you to save sometime. So there you go. Millipedes. We're going to have to check this out when this live stream's done. Thank you, Cheryl. Nigel, go ahead and bookmark that because we've tried all kinds of stuff to try to get rid of these stupid things because we like them. We don't necessarily want to kill them.
Yeah, they're cute.
We don't want them in the house. And I'm more concerned about how are they getting in? Like, seriously, how did this many millipedes get into the house?
I've theorized that maybe it's the same 12 that keep coming in all the time.
They're like, this is our home. Why do you keep kicking us out? Oh, AW says, my grandfather used to live in East Palestine. Oh, my God. And that's, I'm familiar with that area, too. It is genuinely very sad. It's also very sad that wasn't a bigger news story than it probably should have been, because all the people that live downriver of that, or at least in the immediate vicinity, their lives are at risk because of the contaminants that will be in that soil for hundreds of years. So they deserve the right to know. For sure. Did you know about that one city in Pennsylvania that is continuously on fire? And that they had to
is it Carbondale, something like that?
Something like that, where they had to evacuate the whole town, and it's
still on fire like 150 years later, something.
And you can't even go there. Like if you even get close, your tires will melt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did not do right by the Rust Belt at all. Let's see. Been the first time in my life that I have not had a pet of any kind. Such a weird feeling. I can only imagine. I had the good fortune when I lived here for the first while. And part of the reason, by the way, that these guys didn't live with me initially and that they lived with John was because we were doing a lot of back and forth with Nigel. I was going to England and back, etc. Things have pretty much stabilized-ish, aside from the stuff we mentioned earlier. But while I was living here by myself without a pet, it's just like, it's so lonely. I mean, I guess it's just because I've always had a pet, and so it's kind of like I feel at home again now that we've got, you know, perhaps too many cats. I'm now entered crazy cat lady territory again, but it's like I always have somebody to talk to and like give treats to, and you know, give scritches to, and it's pleasant. Let's see. Tina says, I'm always looking at places for sale and just come across my brother's ex-girlfriend's old house and the price is just crazy. Everyone is trying to get in on the market while it's hot. And but the thing is that buyers aren't buying because the interest rates are so high. So the inventory that's available is it's interesting. It's eclectic. It's fun. Oh, AW says my childhood home is on the market for $500K. My parents bought it for $125,000 in 1999, and I bet they didn't do much of anything to it to get to ask for that price, except maybe put down some manufactured wood floors and a couple granite countertops, and they probably painted everything gray because everyone. No, because everybody was watching that Flipper Flop show with that Christina lady who, I mean, all you have to do is watch 3 episodes of that show and you realize she does the exact same thing to every stinking house. And I call it the Millennium Gray, you know, because it's like the millennial cliche house renovation where it's like, we're going to make everything white, black, and gray. There's going to be nothing else going on in this house, just white, black, and gray, everything.
With lots of gray.
And then, you know, we'll have someone come in and stages for it. But it's like, you know that they just did probably something really cosmetic to it. And then they're like, yeah, that's worth $500,000. Just run with it.
This 1-bedroom house in California is now $7.2 million.
Yeah. Hi, Barbara. We're happy you could join us. We were planning to make this one short, but then we get wrapped up in conversation in the comments, and we just can't help ourselves, you know?
It's just a fun social event.
Absolutely. We're super happy that you could join us because it is. It's like we enjoy interacting with you, and then when we get in the comments, it's kind of like we just keep going. I'm going to take a few more of these, Nigel, and then I'll hand it back over to you, okay?
Right, oh my sweet.
But we had a lot of engagement with this, and I was like, this is a cool topic. Well, this, as in, like, we touched on 20 topics, so but this is just one of them. Tia says, there moved. Oh, what did?
So I was going to say, Barbara pointed out it was Centralia that's on fire in Pennsylvania.
Ah, thank you. Yes, I knew someone would know, so thank you for that. Tina says, yeah, there are a lot of places and lots for sale in Paradise, California, where they had that really bad wildfire. Oh my God. Oh my God. And people have like no recollection, no attention span. So they probably wouldn't even remember. They'll probably be like, ooh, that's a great price for California. Yeah, and they're manufactured homes. Oh man. Our mortgage is only $400, which is great, but we'll never be able to move. Yeah, you are lucky. They are not like that now. I was talking to a guy. I was like, I could put down X amount, and it's a pretty juicy down payment because I'm popping my 401k to do it. And you know, he was like, yeah, we could probably get you into a mortgage at about $2,200. I'm like, I'm paying $2,300 now. You mean that my mortgage is going to cost as much as rent, and the rent is too high? What are we doing here?
I've got a Scarlet.
Yay, Scarlet! Oh, maybe you can actually show her this time.
Oh, so she's on the moves. No, she's gone.
She's gone. She's very
moves
quick.
Too quickly.
She's quick.
Oh, hi. Whoops. Oh no, here she is.
And Tina also says
there's
that.
Scarlet.
Oh, there's Scarlet. Here, I'll let you take over the camera. Oh, she's gone.
And now she's gone.
She's like, she was made to be Schrodinger's cat. Like, theoretically, there's a cat there. Oh, she's gone.
She likes to do the nuzzling herself, but if you come up to her, unless she's very sleepy in the morning or in the evening, then she just buggers off.
Yeah,
she wants to initiate it.
She wants to be the one to do the petting. That's my theory. And then Nigel has validated this theory because that's what she does. And I think she's a daddy's girl because she loves Nigel. She gets all over him. Let's see. Shelly said, I lived through the crash, bought in 2005 at the height of the market. And oh my God, I am so sorry. Yeah, I don't want that to happen again for me to be able to afford a house because I have family members who went through something very similar and it was tragic. So I would never want that to necessarily be the case. I just want something to rationalize things a little bit, you know? Like the thing Nigel and I were talking about was, I bet if you basically just put a limitation on how many single family homes an investment company or like a REIT, a real estate investment trust could actually buy, I think that would solve a lot of the problem, because
definitely.
honestly, it's a lot of those investment firms coming in and buying up hundreds of thousands of homes at a time.
Huge blocks of houses.
You know, all across the country, and then converting them into rentals. It creates kind of like a false scarcity in terms of how many houses are actually available, and that jacks up the price.
Well, we have something similar in the UK, where people from London and the big cities will buy second, third, fourth holiday homes in our section of the country, and they're only inhabited for like 2 to 3 weeks a year maximum, and the rest of the year they're empty, and people can't get on the property ladder in their own hometowns. So same problem, different cause.
I saw that Linda joined us. Hi, Linda. We're so happy you could join us. And yes, I know we've been talking to you, and I've talked to you in our customer service personally a few times. So it's a pleasure to have you with us. Bye, Kathleen. You're probably gone by now, but if you catch the replay, just know we appreciate that you joined us. Trying to see. We got one from Shannon here.
Oh, excuse me.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
well,
I'm gonna take over from here, honey.
Look at that. Hang on.
Hold on. Oh gosh, that was not what I was trying to do. Here we go. It's me.
Sorry, got a cramp.
I'm gonna mute his mic. All right. So I live close to Paradise, and everyone jacked up rent when they realized people needed a place to stay, and the process never dropped. A 1-bedroom in my hometown was suddenly the same rent as I paid living in the Bay Area with a view of the Back Bay. People are awful. I would believe that all day long. And I recently went to San Francisco, and yeah, like I went there at the beginning of the year. I've been to some interesting places this year with my job. I've been to Paris, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I've also been to San Francisco. I flew Nigel out to join me when we visited Alcatraz. And I don't know if you're still near the Bay Area, but I can't imagine that it's been like that this whole time, because it wasn't particularly tourist friendly. I'll turn your mic back on, honey. There you go. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Yeah. Sorry, cramp. Had to get that sorted out.
But yeah, but it's still very overpriced, which is kind of surreal, because a lot of it seems very empty. Like right on the bay, for example. Yeah. It looks very empty, but BlackRock has bought up a ton of houses. It's not necessarily BlackRock. It's the parent company of the company I work for. It's Blackstone. Blackstone is buying most of those, and Blackstone and BlackRock are different companies. They're related. They're almost like cousins of each other, but Blackstone is much smaller, and they make the majority of their money from a real estate investment trust, a REIT. So
they're not the ones that are buying up in Ohio. That's a company in Nevada and a company in Texas that are buying up everything in Ohio.
Yeah, the irony is not lost on me, though, that the company I work for is making my life harder when I'm trying to shop for a house right now. It adds a little bit of insult to injury. Yes, and Cheryl concurs that REITs are the worst. Which town are you looking to buy in? Anywhere where I find a house that isn't complete hot garbage, where the internet is fast and I don't have to spend a lot of money on repairs. My criteria is actually very small. It's just the inventory of available houses is equally small. And so even with that very loose, and I want at least a half acre. So that way, if possible, I can add an addition to the home without having to buy like an additional parcel of land or something like that. But yeah, it's a lot to ask for, apparently, because even, sticks or sticks adjacent, most of the houses, like what Nigel described, it's like they'll have basements, but they won't tell you what those basements look like. They'll have barns, but they won't tell you what's in them. And I'm just imagining that all the barns are like that barn in Twister. If you remember all the the blades hanging from the ceiling when they were looking for shelter. I imagine that it's all like that, or something out of Children of the Corn, or like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like there's something really spooky in the barn, which is why they don't want us in there. I'll have to get like the Scooby-Doo gang to come check it out or something.
Hey, if they've got a bunch of antique scythes in there, fantastic. It would go well with my death costume.
But I want to see what's in these properties that
Of
are on the
course.
property, and they don't ever want to show those, which makes me feel like there's something really wrong with them that I'm going to have to address when I buy it. I
Yeah.
don't actually literally want there to be bodies buried in the barn.
No.
No,
That would be a pain. That would be distressing.
Yes. Tina says people from the Bay Area have been moving to Sacramento and driving up the prices for years. I would believe that. And yes, yeah, and it's easy to get them confused because they have such similar sounding names. But I think that's just because of the relationship between the two main guys. Let's see. Windstream and Spectrum Internet. Yeah, I need
We've
Blaze
got Spectrum.
Fast. Yeah. And then what's your criteria? That's a great question. What are you looking for, honey?
Well, ideally, I would generally, Heather and I are in agreement about just about everything. I realize we're not going to get our dream home right off the bat, but ideally, I would love it if we had a full-sized basement. It needn't even be completely finished. It just needs to be outfitted with, like a laundry room and lights and, pretty watertight, or if not watertight, then at least have something to get rid of dampness. But nice concrete basement that we can finish if we need to, and a laundry room mainly for storage, because storage is always nice, and it's always nice to retreat to a basement in the summer months when it's way too hot. But other than that, nice big bedroom for us, a guest bedroom, at least 1.5 bathrooms, a nice big full-size basement, and possibly a little room that can be converted into a study where we can just go and read and relax, kind of like a library, but we'll see. Those would be my ideal stuff.
I think central air is cool.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Air conditioning for the summer, radiators for the winter. That would be perfect.
Yeah, that would make our pool of potential homes really small, though, because radiator heat's not as popular here. We'd almost have to get an old house if that was what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you have anything else on the agenda that was?
Couple things. Okay. Let's see. Ordy says the barn is where they bury the bodies. You weren't supposed to tell them that. Anyway, Barbara says you can still buy a decent house up here in northern Michigan for $200K, but rural, crappy internet and snow. No hurricanes, though. And pasties. Love pasties. Tina says, live halfway between San Fran and Sacramento. There's not much difference in rent or mortgages, but I do like living close to the Bay Area, especially this time of year. It must be better. Yeah. I've been looking into a building. It's 300 SF, same as buying LaSalle.
That's crazy. And I was actually Googling some of that earlier this morning with my initial actually caffeinated cup of coffee, because this is decaf. And I was like, I could have one that I built that's almost the same price. I would just have to get my own land. I mean, that seems like a pain in the butt, but it also seems like we could actually get something closer to what we want. It's just a matter of where would we find the land? Would it have the appropriate hookups and stuff? That sort of thing. Because some of the land is really overpriced too at this stage, which is also kind of nutty. But,
some of the land I've seen going for sale around this area. It's ridiculous. Ooh,
I have a question for everybody watching this. If you had to choose between a whirlpool bathtub or a claw-footed bathtub, which one would you go with? Because I know which one Nigel and I would go with, but I'm kind of curious to know what you guys would go with. So please let us know in the comments, and we'll address that towards the end. Go ahead and touch on anything else that's Hair Kitty Kitty related. Let's get that out of the way, and I have a couple things I want to end with.
All right, there's one main thing, one main piece of news I wanted to deal with. Then we're free to do whatever. The Patreon people have voted on the release order for the next wave of wigs, and we're going to go with Poppy in Barbie Dreams Rooted is going to be the next one. So that should be timed nicely for this Barbie movie that's out. After that, we're going to do Colette in Illuminati Rooted. And then after that, we're going to do Grayson in South Beach Sands Rooted, just in time for the Dog Days of Summer. So Poppy in Barbie Dreams Rooted will be next. Colette in Illuminati Rooted will be second. And Grayson in South Beach Sands Rooted will be the next one after that. So if you're a member of Patreon, which we can get into later, you can vote in these polls to help choose the release order of the next batch of wigs, and you get a nice little coupon code to get a bargain on them when they come out. So Poppy and Barbie Dreams, Colette in Illuminati Rooted, and Grayson in South Beach Sand Rooted. That's what's coming up next from our store.
All right. Anything else, or can I jump into a
Off you go.
Okay. So there was one more thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. It's actually a video I watched earlier today, and I thought it would be really relevant to anybody who makes YouTube content. Because I know I tend to go on a little bit, of a rant sometimes when I talk about YouTubes. And YouTube's, like, there's more than one YouTube. But you know what I mean? It's like the platform, like that platform economy and, being a content creator in that kind of platform environment, that you kind of get wrapped up in the need to kind of appease the algorithm gods, that you need to kind of guess because they don't tell you what it is that they actually want. They just tell you what they don't want. And then you hear anecdotal stories about people whose channels are really, really popular, and then they just kind of, right? Like those gods giveth, and then they take it the way, algorithmically. Yeah. And I actually found a video that posted today from Louis Rossman. I don't know if you watch him, but he's wonderful if you are someone like me who geeks out about computer stuff. You don't really need to know much about his backstory beyond that if you're not really into that stuff. But if you are into someone who's very into the right to repair and your right to be able to fully own your own computer equipment and repair it yourself, should you choose to do so, have the tools and the expertise to do so. Mm-hmm. He's a huge advocate for that. And I love that about him, because back in the day, my first computer is a computer I built. Like literally, that was my first computer, was one I built myself. Now it's very difficult to do that. You can't just go to the store and get a bunch of individual parts and a motherboard and all that stuff, put it all together with some RAM, boom, slap a monitor on it, and you've got a computer system. Now you buy the whole thing, set up, kit and caboodle, everything soldered into place. So if you try to repair it yourself, you'll probably break it. And so, I think that his channel is really cool if you're into some of that stuff. But the video he made today, which I'm now going to post in the chat, you'll see it here It just posted twice, not really three times. Yeah. So it probably is showing up wherever you can see this conversation. This particular video is really special because in the thumbnail, he says right away, I'm not going to pay, as in he's not going to pay YouTube to circulate his content. And that he brings up the example of one of his friends who was a very, very successful DIY educator, right? Like he made free educational content on YouTube, had over 1 million followers or subscribers rather. And his channel in terms of subscriber count is continuously growing, but his views went from several 100,000, if not 1 million plus per video, to like 1,000 to 2,000 per video. Even though he's keeping up with the times and he's refreshing his content to make it more relevant to modern computers and stuff like that. So it's not that there is a lack of interest. It's literally YouTube is algorithmically suppressing this creator's channel to get this creator to pay to play. And this is something that I suspect happened to my primary YouTube channel, which is why I stopped capitulating to it. I stopped doing it. Because I felt like we were being forced to boost our own content. This is something Facebook has been doing for a very long time. Yeah. Like, we were able to organically build up a following of about 20,000 followers. And then once we hit that number, it's like they stopped showing us as an option. And we started seeing information, in our administrative dashboard about, ooh, oh boy, we could pay to capture an audience. But I was like, but I'm already capturing an audience. Why do I need to pay now? And it's because, they want, this is something that TikTok has actually had to confess. There was an expose about this in the Wall Street Journal, okay, where it was actually leaked via whistleblowers that TikTok actually has a heat button, where literally if one of the employees that's in a certain role at TikTok likes your content and thinks it furthers their agenda, then what they'll do is they will tweak the algorithm specifically for that creator. And that creator will catch on like a rocket. They'll show up on everybody's For You page. And they do this specifically to tokenize certain content creators in certain genres, to make examples out of them, to say, look how successful you can be. You just need to do it too. So what I want to just put on your radar is that this happens. It's real. And Louis Rossmann does a really good job of showing the example of his friend. Now, he does use the F-bomb at a couple times in the middle of the video, and he flicks off YouTube. So just know that that's in there, content warning. But macho dude stuff aside, he makes a really great point. And so this is why I strongly suggest that people who want to make a living as content creators, yes, build up a home base on a single platform, really hone your craft, but then diversify. Get on multiple platforms, because you don't know what's going to happen, to that platform. They can be kind of capricious in terms of what it is that they're trying to boost the signal of. And you want to make sure that you don't become irrelevant because you put all your eggs in one basket. Hi. Because I'm living proof that that's a bad thing to do. And then you start to wonder, especially, when you are making very similar content for a very similar audience, but then that signal disappears, you're wondering what it is that they're incentivizing and why. And it's very easy and convenient to go, oh, it's just audience preference, right? They just like somebody else a little bit better. But you can't explain all of it that way, because how do people find your content?
Yeah.
And if they're already subscribed and they don't see your content, how are you supposed to overcome that? You have to do a lot of additional marketing. Like, we have to send out newsletters and stuff to tell people that we're doing live streams, and about 20 people show up. Yeah. Right.
Well, what I do is I know who I'm subscribed to, and I go out and search for their channel and see what they're updated.
Yeah, but I mean, we shouldn't have to do that. We're subscribed.
No, we shouldn't.
We're subscribed to the creators we're subscribed to because we want to watch their content. We would unsubscribe if we didn't actually want to watch their content. So yeah. I kind of miss the old days. And the other thing I want to bring to your attention, though, I'll only say this once, is there's actually a term for this. And there's a wonderful article in the New York Times about this concept. And if I could find it before we end, I'll put it in the chat log too. It's called the enshittification of the internet.
Yes, you showed that to me. That's a great article.
Oh my God. He summarized this phenomenon perfectly. And somebody said it perfectly. Tina, they want money. That is exactly why they're doing all this. So here, let me see if I can find that.
I'll tell you what, you find that. I'll take a few comments. In terms of the bath votes, we've got one for Clawfoot. Cheryl has always wanted a square Japanese bath. Ordy's voting for Whirlpool. Shannon says Clawfoot, depending on where you live, filling a whole large Whirlpool tub with hot is a pain, especially if in an old house, because then you usually need a new water heater, etc. too. Oh, that's the problem we have. We've got one of these Whirlpool tubs, and we get it about half full. And even when we tried sitting in it once, we both got in, and even with both of our bodies taking up a large amount of volume, we only got about half full before the hot water started to give out. And then Tina says, as long as it's big enough to lay down, wide enough to be covered in all the way to my neck, that's fine. And then Stephanie says, Whirlpool, though I understand they breed bacteria. Yeah, and when we got into our Whirlpool tub and finally turned it on, the jets spewed out gray sludge. So we instantly jumped out, got in the shower, cleaned off, and then drained the Whirlpool tub and never used it again.
No.
Grew up with a cloth foot tub that had the feet amputated before we moved in. I would ideally want easy to get up and down into tub that somehow had a soft lining and way to keep the water hot. Yeah, insulated. Great stuff. Oh, man. Okay. Have you found that then, my sweet?
Yeah, I already put it in the chat here. I'll do it one more time. So there's actually I'm going to use the word even though it's terrible. I didn't come up with it though. Some dude who wrote Wired. I said the New York Times. I was wrong. It's Wired. But this was great. And this was actually something one of my customers in a consulting role brought to my attention. I was like, he summarized this perfectly.
Yes.
And he's so snarky about it and just so to the point. It's all about greed. Follow the money. I was like, of course. and a couple people actually commented along those lines, like, no more Fry's Electronics. I know. And just stuff like that. Yeah, he did. He got throttled. It was very, very bad. Let's see. They do this to a lot of people. They absolutely do. And in fact, I feel like this is why some content creators, when they get to the absolute top, so definitely not, I'm not talking about myself, you know, people who are like millions and millions, like you hear them start to complain when this happens, right? Because they can see it. And these folks are not just like casual content creators. They study their numbers. They are like analysts of their own audiences and what their audience is like and what gets them views. And they can tell right away when something has shifted, and it can cost them a lot of money. It can lose them their whole career. So it's kind of a big deal. And I agree with Barbara. It is a lot like a drug dealer saying, hey man, the first hit's free. That's what that whole institutification argument is about. It's like basically a three-prong approach, and he lays it out beautifully. It's basically like step one, get all your friends and family to join. The company operates at a loss. Investors are propping it up. So it doesn't generate any profit, but it generates a lot of revenue, a lot of attention, and everybody thinks this is a free, fun thing. Their friends and family join. That locks them in because it's a lot harder to get them to move to a different platform. Hello, Facebook. So you know, once they're locked in to a certain extent, then step two comes in. And step two is basically when they start bringing the money in via the businesses. They say, hey, businesses, check it out. We've got a sitting audience here for you. And all you have to do is pay us for access. And we will give you access to all of these people who are just sitting here trying to get attention, right? Well, you can also get their attention. You can get money and you can get their eyeballs at the same time. You just pay to do it. Well, the thing is, the businesses, none of these platforms do it the exact same way. So when a business starts doing this on one of these platforms, there's a lock-in there too, because you have to become an expert on that platform. So even if you're a business paying for advertising, you can't just do it on a single platform. You have to do it on multiple, and you have to have a specialist for every single platform you're on. And if you're a small business owner, you are that specialist, which means you have to pick and choose your battles. You have to, you know, stick to one or two because it's too complicated to try to do more than one, even if you're using something to make it a little easier, like Later or HubSpot or like Zoho. You know, if you're using something to help you with that, used to be like TweetDeck. What was a good example of that? Like literally, or Hootsuite. That's what it was, Hootsuite. But like, even if you're using something like that, it's still hard. You still have to write the copy the exact right way with the captions that are SEO optimized for that exact platform. It's complicated. And so the businesses get locked into that because they get locked into expertise that is pretty much just for that platform. And they kind of get stuck on that. So once they're locked in, the third part happens. And the third part is when those investors start saying, we want profit. We've been operating at a loss this whole time. We want profit. And the way we're going to do it is by turning the screws on those businesses that are actually in the middle, right? So it's not a B2C grift. They're not necessarily ripping off the individual users. They get to still use the platform for free in exchange for data. It's the businesses that are on those platforms that are the revenue engine, because they're the ones that are paying for the advertising, and they're the ones that are stuck there because their audiences are there. And so they end up having to constantly pay and pay and pay. And every time they pay, it gets less effective. So you can see over time, they have to keep paying more and more and more. So while that might, and it becomes a little bit like pay-per-click, PPC, where it's auction oriented. So you're effectively paying a market rate based on other companies, businesses that are selling similar products. Now, this is dependent on the platform, but this is certainly the case on Google. And if you are up against very large multinational companies that are legacy B2B and have a lot of money to throw at this, they will inflate the cost of all of that advertising, further prohibiting you from getting access to your audience. And so this is something I talk about in my day job all the time, because it's like that, hey man, the first hit's free is not just for the end users. And so folks like yourself who are, using these things for free in exchange for data, it's for the businesses too, right? Like they're not necessarily getting it for free, but it's cheaper when they enter than when they've been doing it for a while. And if they try to make content for themselves, it doesn't go anywhere, right? Like if you are an individual and not a business, and the algorithm detects that you are an individual, it might help boost your signal. Maybe. But if you are a business, it will suppress your signal at all turns because it wants you to pay to play from the beginning to the end. The algorithm just means they programmed it that way for sure. Absolutely. Hardcore agree. Absolutely. The algorithms are screwed up. Depends on your perspective. If you're an investor in Meta, you probably think this is great. If you're an investor in Google, you probably think this is awesome. This is go time, right? Even Amazon Marketplace operated at a loss for almost a decade before it even made a profit. And it's only marginally profitable right now. Which I think is stunning to a lot of folks. They make most of their money from the advertising revenue coming from the businesses that sell on Amazon. So Amazon makes more money on the advertising than they do the actual sales in their marketplace, and they make more money from AWS than they do from their retail marketplace. So the retail marketplace is basically a smokescreen, so they can try to avoid regulation in a lot of ways. That's why I like the Japanese tub. Ooh, what's this? What's a Japanese tub? It has a seat, so it takes less water and less water to heat, but very comfortable, especially if it has a door.
Oh, and she goes on.
Magnificent. Yeah.
And she goes on to say, and the water comes up to your chin.
I want. This sounds fantastic. It has a seat, so that probably sounds like it'd be easier on my knees. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, was there anything else you wanted to say, honey? Because
yes,
it's short, and yet it's almost 2 hours in.
This quick update has now turned longer than any other live stream we've done since we relaunched them. So here's our website.
Hair kitty.
If you aren't signed up for our newsletter, you can go to our website, hairkittykitty.com, and submit the form at the bottom of the page. If you want to sign up to our Patreon, there it is. You get exclusive coupon codes, advanced information, polls. You get to help choose the release order of the new releases and all that sort of thing. Because of all the crap that's been going on in our lives, we have the No Drama Sale, which is going on for another, we're going to say 4 hours and 8 minutes roughly as of this moment. So, yeah, that's on until midnight EST tonight, the 23rd of July, 2023. So, yeah, other than that, just want to say thanks for joining us. It's been a hoot. We've had a great time chatting away and drinking questionable cocktails with weird aftertastes. So yeah, it's been a hoot. It's made our Sunday, and I think Heather's perked up considerably.
Absolutely. I felt like crap. I mean, I'm wearing bloomers and an oversized t-shirt and no hair, no makeup. You can probably tell I don't feel well, but just being here with you guys, even virtually, and just shooting the breeze, this has been fantastic. So thank you for lifting my spirits. I appreciate y'all.
Tina's had a laugh.
Yes.
Carol says that was fun. Sped by fast. Yeah, it did. I'm surprised at how the
I
time
like her red
up.
frames. We're glasses twins.
Nice. Ordy says, I'm so glad to catch some of the live. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us. Cheryl says, thank you.
Thank
And
you.
Terry Sue says, hope you have a better week. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, so
Greatly
do we.
appreciated. Stephanie says, it's been a blast. Glad you guys had fun. Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was an
guys.
absolute hoot.
All right,
So
Nigel. Let's call it a night. Bye, everybody. Have a great evening.
take it easy, folks. Bye.